Hi everyone. So I've had some strange things happening over the last week or so. Everywhere I go, people from my past have been turning up just randomly in the same places I am. And it hasn't just happened once or twice, it's happened 4 times that groups of people from my past are there. And I was like, what are you trying to show me, God? Or is this just a weird coincidence? But what I realized is every person I saw was from a time in my life that was just miserable. I was deeply depressed. I just had a tragic loss in my life, and I wasn't myself. And sadly, it's a very long time ago, but sadly, I didn't make the best choices. I blocked God out, and I went about my life in a very worldly fashion. So every time I saw them, I was just overwhelmed with God's grace and redemptive power, like how much I've changed. I am not the same person. I might look the same, but I am not the same. And it just made me grateful every time. And I thought, wow, God, I knew the truth, but I was in so much pain that I just did worldly things. I still loved God. I still talked about God, but I did all I could to damage myself and made terrible choices, and therefore hurt other people along the way unintentionally. But that's what happens when we're out to destroy ourselves, is this carnage. And I just thought, wow, God's so amazing. He's forgiven me of so much. And then the last few days, everywhere I look, it's been people talking about forgiveness, like preachers saying, about forgiveness, forgiveness, forgiveness. We must forgive. And then I thought about that verse in the Bible, Matthew 6:15. I wrote it down to make sure I got it right. That if you do not forgive others, God will not forgive you. And that is terrifying. So it's actually, we're forgiven, but if we dare to not forgive others, we won't be forgiven. We lose that. That's a terrifying thing. And I thought, God's forgiven us of so much, whether you went out and lived worldly like the prodigal son or daughter and got covered in worldly muck and then came back humbly to God saying, please, Lord, forgive me, or whether it was far less dramatic than that. Maybe you just were a good person all your life, but you didn't know God, or maybe, you didn't spend time with God. Our heart is so deceptive. We have so much wickedness in there that we don't get. And that's why the Bible says lean not on our own understanding, because our own understanding in our own heart is deceitful and corrupt. So even the best people among us that we would say, oh, they're a good person, they're not. They're sinful, and the wages of sin is death. But when we have Jesus, we're forgiven. So I just want to remind everyone that there's not one of us on this earth that has any right not to forgive. If you call yourself a Christian, a follower of Jesus, you don't have a choice not to forgive, because you're throwing away your salvation. If God doesn't forgive you, that's horrific. That's terrifying. Don't do that. And I know some people are going to get annoyed at that and go, how dare you say I don't have the right to forgive? You don't know what I've been through. Well, that's true, I don't, but I do know what I've been through. So I've been through verbal abuse, physical assaults, sexual assaults, slander, lies, unjust judges, unjust governments. Everything that could have happened has happened. I've had people do wrong things and it's injured me. Someone decided to break the law in their car and they run me over, and I've had physical damage for most of my life because of that. A lot of unjust things happened in my life, and I have forgiven every single one of them. Why? Because Christ first forgave me, and without God's forgiveness, I have nothing. So you have no right to hold on to unforgiveness. So I just encourage you to search your heart. Search it. See, is there any bitterness? Is there any ill wishes on anyone? And I'm not saying you have to be best friends with everyone. You're allowed boundaries. If people keep on hurting you, if people are toxic, that kind of thing, I'm not saying invite them into your house. Forgiveness doesn't mean acceptance of bad behavior or abuse. and we're allowed to put up boundaries. The Bible is great at boundaries, but we do have to forgive and let go of that bitterness. So yeah, I hope this is encouraging, and yeah, feel free to add some comments, have some discussion if you want. Tell me a time when you've had to be forgiven, or when you've seen God's mercy and been able to forgive others. What are some of your tips when it's been a real struggle, when someone's hurt you over and over again? How did you forgive them? I'd love to hear from you. Okay, be blessed. Bye.